Nobody puts scars on their resumes. We list the degrees, we list the certifications, the titles, the awards, and we carefully curate everything that makes us look polished, right? And we put it together. But what if the thing that actually qualifies you, the thing that makes people trust you, follow you, hire you, isn't any of that? What if it's the thing that you survived? We're going to talk about it today. Welcome to MiNDSHiFT Monday, where we don't just talk motivation, we train perspective. I'm your man, Robert Kennedy III, RK3. That's me. And today we're going to flip one of the most common assumptions that people carry into rooms that they walk into, and that's the assumption that hard seasons are liabilities. Welcome to the show, Milton Dodd, Steve T. Rice. So glad that you're here. SNCO Bash, glad you're here. C. Marie B, Marjorie Benjamin, David Hunt. What's going, y'all? How you doing? So glad that you're here this morning. Few things. We are like hot air balloons. Thank you, Jane Lehman. One thing before we jump in, so glad that you're here. If you want to know when we're going live, text live to 240-557-8679. You'll get the notification and you'll be on time, in the space, in the place, looking at my face with the rest of us. Yes, text us live, 240-557-8679. Oh yeah, and then after the show, join us for the level up. Go to MiNDSHiFTMonday.com/Zoom. Yes, y'all. All right. Yeah. So listen, share the show, y'all. Good morning, Regina Howard, Judy Schneidman. Oh yeah, y'all are coming in. Everybody's popping in. We live in a culture obsessed with credentials, degrees, certifications, track records. I'm not saying that any of those things don't matter. They do. But you want credibility? Let's talk about how to get that this morning. Y'all ready? Let's do the show. Come on, here we go. Oh yeah. Do me a favor, y'all. Scale of 1 to 10. How you doing this morning? Scale of 1 to 10. How you doing this morning? Just drop that in the chat for me. Come on. Scale of 1 to 10. Give me some numbers. Scale of 1 to 10. How you doing? 10 being the best. 1 being yeah. How you doing this morning? Scale of 1 to 10. Okay, I see some 7s. 7. All right, I see a 9. Farrar says 9. Good Lord. David Hunt says 10. Yes. Come on, y'all. C. Marie B's on the 9 scale. Yes. I love it. Marjorie Benjamin is 10. Judy's 10. Milton's an 8. Here's what I'm noticing. I'm noticing that all the mothers are doing really well because we just came off of Mother's Day and the men are in the 7s. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Let's get going this morning. Good. I am, honestly, I'm probably at about a 9 myself. I'm doing pretty well. I'm probably at 11 because I'm here with you this morning. So glad to see you in the space, in the place, looking at my face. We're here. All right. Let's jump on into the show this morning and let's get rocking and rolling. Yeah. Oh, man. So this morning this month we're talking about resilience. That's the theme of the month of May. We're talking about resilience. Last month we talked about expansion. This month we're talking about coming, not back, but coming forward, right? And so we want to talk about, what do you do with the parts of life that throw you for a loop? What do you do with the parts of life that throw you for a spin? So let me talk to you about something that happened to me probably about 4 years ago now. About 4 years ago, I was doing a keynote for an organization. It was actually a conference, fairly large conference in the state of Florida, Orange County Convention Center, just on the edge of the pandemic at the Orange County Convention Center. Some people were still wearing masks at this point, but it was a big space. It was a big space. Let me show you the room. So this was the room. Room seats about 3,000-ish people, right? Really big room, big convention center. Great opportunity. So I'm getting prepared for this talk, and I do everything that I'm supposed to do. I do everything that I need to do. And before I leave for the conference, I decide to go out the night before. So I leave. The conference is on a Sunday. Actually, no, the conference is on a Friday. Yes, the conference is on a Friday. I fly in Thursday evening, speak Friday morning. Got it. Okay. So I decide that I'm going to go out to the mailbox, to my business mail, to pick up some stuff. So it just so happened that it had snowed and it was icy at that time of the year. This was about early February. And I decided that I was going to go to get some mail. I go and I park in the parking lot. My wife is with me. She's in the car. And I get out of the car and I'm walking to the mailbox. The next thing that I remember is some people standing over me saying, "Sir, you okay? Sir, you okay? Sir, you okay? Sir, you okay?" And I didn't, the memory that I had right before that was leaving the car, closing the car door. Everybody's like, "Sir, you okay? Sir, you okay?" So I remember trying to get up and just feeling really wobbly, woozy, not being sure of what happened. And I get up and I stumble back over to my truck. Probably look like somebody out of Thriller at this point because I come to the truck against the side of the window. My wife is like in the car, right? So I show up against the truck and my wife is like, "Oh my gosh," because my face is bloody. There's blood dripping down the side of my face at this point. I don't remember what happened, but clearly what had happened was that I slipped on ice and hit my head. So I slip on the ice, I hit my head, and not only do I slip on the ice and hit my head, I now have cuts down the side of my face. Let me show y'all a little bit about this. Are y'all ready for a graphic shot? This is kind of a graphic picture, but I'm gonna show it to you. All right. Actually, here's let me do this first. Before I show you the shot, I go to this event. I'm speaking at this event, and I go to the event and I get on stage and I'm dancing. I'm doing all the things. I'm on the stage, doing all the things. But here's what I looked like. Here's what I looked like. I had apparently fallen and hit my head, got those cuts, and I got black eye, and I had this event. So this fall happens 2 days before the event. So here's what my wife does, and I'd never experienced this before. My wife takes me to the Mac store. No, not the Apple store. The Mac store. The women, you know what I'm talking about. makeup. And she's like, we got to get some concealer. So we go to this store and they're matching my skin tone and they're doing all the stuff and they're putting on concealer and they're putting on this stuff on my face. And I'm like, okay. So they do this, but here's the thing. When we go to the speaking engagement, I don't have a makeup artist with me. I've got to put on this concealer myself. Anyway, I put on this concealer and I hide the majority of my scars. And I go in and, as I said, I'm on stage. I'm dancing. I'm doing all the things. But underneath is this guy. So I'm talking and I'm talking and I'm talking and I'm talking and I'm doing and I'm dancing and doing everything. But then partway through the talk, I pull out a wipe out of my pocket and I erase the concealer. I take off the makeup that is there. And as I do this, you could see some of the eyes of the audience begin to, oh my gosh, what happened to you? So they're seeing this happen real time with me, and I'm sharing the scar and I share with them the story of what happened and how it happened recently. And as I'm sharing this, you could see physically some of the faces begin to soften. And my point, I was delivering a talk about making connection in the classroom. This was a conference called The Future of Educational Technology. And I was making a point about creating connection, using technology to create connection in the classroom. And I said, the challenge for many of us is that we are putting the technology ahead of everything. But before we do anything, we've got to create connection with people. And so I encourage the audience to let them see your scars. I said to them, you might see who's in the room, but what you might be seeing is the concealer, hiding the scars underneath. And so I encourage them, let them see your scars and maybe they'll show you theirs. Then you can form a connection that will last a lifetime. Write this one down. Your polish gets you in the room, but your scars make them trust you once you're there. Yeah. So I got to tell you, after the talk, people came up to me and they said, oh my gosh, yeah, I've used Zoom. Oh my gosh, yes, I've used Ecamm. Yes, I've used characters. Yes, I've used these different technologies, or no, I didn't use them, or no, I need to know. Yes, I need to learn more about them. But what they said to me, all they talked about was, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that on stage. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you showed us that on stage. Most of the people that talked to me after that said, my goodness, I've been hiding my stuff. I've been hiding my scars. Thank you for giving me the courage to do that. Right? And here's what a lot of speakers and what a lot of people do, a lot of business owners. We treat our hard seasons like legal liabilities, right? Something to be disclosed carefully because we've been through the criticism. We've seen people talk about other people and their messiness. We've seen the news. We've seen all the, and so we don't want our stuff to be shown. We want to hide our stuff. And so our hard seasons are minimized. We explain them away quickly. We say things like, and some of us we're like, I'm telling my story, Robert. And we say things like, it was a difficult time, but I got through it. And then we move on as fast as possible. Like, the faster that we skip past the wound, the more professional that we appear. But what we're doing is actually skipping past the most compelling part of the story. Now, I'm not saying that you talk about your past and you dwell there and you stay there and you let people wallow there with you for a great length of time. But as you're talking, as you're connecting, as you're sharing stories, as you're conversing, take a moment to acknowledge the wound. Let people feel it with you for a second, right? Because when you're reading a book, you don't connect with the chapter where the character has figured everything out. You connect with the chapter where they're lost, where the plan fell apart, where they don't know what's next, where they didn't know if they were going to make it. That's the chapter. That's the part that people underline. That's the part they read twice. But in our stories, that chapter is what a lot of us keep leaving on the cutting room floor. There's a concept in Japanese culture called kintsugi, and it is the art of repairing broken pottery with gold. Right? It's the art of repairing broken pottery with gold. And here's what happens when a pottery, when a bowl shatters, instead of discarding the bowl, here's what happens. Let me bring up a picture of this. Right? Instead of discarding the bowl or disguising the damage, kintsugi artists fill every crack with gold lacquer. I want you to get that for a second. Right? They fill every crack with gold lacquer, and what happens is the repaired piece becomes more valuable than the original. It becomes more beautiful. It becomes more rare. It becomes more sought after. And the philosophy behind it is that the breakage is not something to be hidden. It is part of the history of the object. Brad Stulberg, in his book Peak Performance, has an observation when he studies high performance athletes. And he says the ones that reach the highest levels aren't the ones that avoid or hide the difficulty. They're the ones who learn to metabolize it, to let the stress do what the stress is designed to do. And this forces adaptation. And when you force adaptation, when you admit to the broken piece, it forces growth. It forces development of a capacity that the comfort never demands. In other words, the crack is where the gold goes in. Right? Your hard season doesn't disqualify you. It gilds you. It grows you. So the thing that almost broke you is the thing that makes you unbreakable to the people that are watching you now. People are seeing you and they're seeing you go through and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to be like David. I want to be like Lorenda. I want to be like Alethea. I want to be like Chicago Couture, right? I want to be like Kendra. And Kendra's like, oh, you don't know my story. But guess what, Kendra? They're saying, well, tell me the story. Right? A lot of us believe that our hard seasons are setbacks that we need to recover from and move past as quickly as possible. But I want you to change that belief into saying this: my hard seasons are the most credible chapters of my story. And the people I'm meant to lead, the people I am meant to inspire, the people I am meant to help or serve need to hear them. Right? When you stop hiding what you've been through and start owning it, your communication changes, your presence changes. The way that people receive you changes because you're now not just someone who's an expert who knows things. You're someone who's been somewhere, and that's a completely different kind of authority. All right, so let's jump into our actions for the week. And these are your 3 experiments. Number 1, as we've walked through the scars and what I've been encouraging you to do with your scars this week, I want you to take a couple of actions, 3 actions. Number 1, get a growth name. Get a growth name. Get a growth name. I want you to think about the hardest thing that you've navigated in the last 3 to 5 years. Think about the hardest thing that you've navigated in the last 3 to 5 years. Maybe it was an illness that you navigated. Maybe it was a family situation that you navigated. Maybe it was a career or work situation. Maybe it was a financial situation. Give it a name. But here's the thing. I don't want you to give it a wound name. I don't want you to name it the year I lost everything. Instead of it being the year I lost everything, it is the year I figured out what I was actually made of. How about that? How about that? Because the name that you give a season shapes how you carry it. If it was the year that I lost everything, it's this burden. It's this memory that's like, oh my gosh, this heavy albatross that sits on your back. But if it's the year that I figured out what I was actually made of, oh yeah, now that's a strength thing. That's the year that you're like, man, yeah, listen, that thing thought it broke me, but it made me. It thought it broke me, but it built me. I wanted to get that B in there. Right? So get a growth name. Give it a name that signifies and signals growth. Number 2, find the credential. Find the gift inside the gap. Ask yourself, what do I know now about myself, about people, about how to handle pressure that I could have only learned by going through that? What is it that I could have only learned by going through that? As I think about my speaking experience, you think about getting a black eye. You think about falling and hitting your head. Would you have canceled the event? Would you have called the organizer? Would I have called the organizer? Could I have called the organizer and said, hey, listen, I messed up my face. I can't show up in front of your audience. But was there a lesson for me in walking through that experience? And I didn't know anything about concealer before that. It gave me a great story. Right? And I could have only learned that. I could have only given that audience that experience. I could have talked about understanding the hurt or the challenges that your students are coming in with. Oh, but what a visual it was to be able to wipe concealer off and show the scar underneath. Right? That is an experience. That experience is your credential. And that credential is what establishes better trust and more authority. Okay, that's number 2. Number three, I want to encourage you to share one piece of that story this week. I want to encourage you to share one piece of that story. It doesn't have to be the entirety of it, but this week in one conversation, a client call, a team meeting, a coffee with a colleague, share one honest, specific moment from a hard season. Not to be vulnerable for the sake of being vulnerable, but being real for the sake of connection, and watch what happens. I want you to watch what happens when you do this. Just like I'm on stage and I'm wiping off this concealer and I'm seeing real time, eyes open up a little bit. I'm seeing the thoughts form in people's brains. And then after the event, after the talk, I experienced people coming up to me, telling me about what that meant for them. Be real for the sake of connection and watch what happens in the room when you do. Listen, y'all, if today's episode stirred something deep inside of you, if you found yourself thinking about a season that you've been carrying, a story that you've been sitting on, a scar that you haven't figured out what to do with yet, we can work on that. We'll do some stuff with that in the after show. It's not a lecture, it's a conversation. Come on with your question, your story, your half-formed thought. That's exactly what the after show is for. Hey, listen, we've got something amazing. We've been talking about stories today, but we've got something amazing happening on June 9th. I want to invite you to the Story Vault Remix. You might have a story in your brain. You might have a story that you've been hiding. You might have something, an asset that you've been keeping under wraps. I want to invite you to come and learn how to unlock that and utilize that in a way that makes a difference, makes connection, makes transformation in not just your life, but in the lives of others, in your business. This is an asset. Come on, capture it and learn the structures that you can use to share it in an even more effective way. All right, that's a Story Vault Remix. Come on, join us. Go to storyvaultremix.com. All right, get over there and sign up for the remix. Yes, storyvaultremix.com. All right, here's where I want to leave you today. There's a version of your story that you've been protecting, that you've been keeping tucked away, off the record, out of the conversation. And I get it. It's tender. It's a wound. It feels heavy. It doesn't always feel safe to put it down in front of people. But there's somebody in your world right now that's in the middle of a season that you already survived. And they're wondering if they're going to make it. And the most powerful thing that you could offer them, more than advice, more than strategy, more than a perfectly polished presentation, is proof. You can offer them the proof that somebody that they respect went through something hard and they made it, and they became more because of it. Your scar is not a liability, it's a light. It's a lantern. Growth happens at the edge of comfort. And today's final word, hey y'all, you didn't just survive the edge. You were shaped by it. I want you to own that. Own it. Own it. Yes, Cousin Alethea, glad you're here. C. Marie B., glad you're here. Dr. Lorenda, glad you're here. Kimberly Lechnick, glad you're here. Farrar Thomas, glad you're here. And I'll see you next time. Until then, stay curious, stay grounded, keep shifting your mindset so that you can shift your life. Or, as I always say, change your mind, change your life, change somebody else's story. Peace, family. Ooh, ooh. Join me in the after show. Come on. MiNDSHiFTMonday.com/Zoom right now. Yee.